Hello everyone. In the beginning of the class, please pause the video and review the following problem first. After you finish doing this problem, you can continue the video and I will show you all the solutions in detail. First problem. Simplify 4x to the power 3 times 6xy squared. When we multiply two terms together, we first of all multiply the numbers in the front first. 4 times 6 is 24. Next, we can try to multiply x together. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, we keep the base and exponent. If there's no exponent, we assume exponent is 1. So n exponent, 3 plus 1 is 4. And there's only one term of y. I leave it the way it is. That's the answer. Number 2. Negative 2 times s to the power of 3 times negative 4 times s squared times t. When we multiply two terms together, we first of all multiply the numbers in the front. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive a. Then we can try to multiply s together. S to the power 3 times s to the power 2. When we multiply two terms with the same base, we keep the base and exponent. Keep s and exponent. 3 plus 2 is 5. There's only one t here. They cannot be combined, so I leave t, letter t the way it is. So that's the final answer. Number 3. Negative 6 over a to the power 4 over 15 times a to the power of a. So first of all, if I try to simplify this expression, negative number divided by positive number is negative. So simplify the numbers first. Negative number divided by positive number, answer is negative. Simplify 6 over 15. Simplify 6 over 15. 6 over 15. I can divide top and the bottom by 3. Make 2 over 5. Simplify number first. Negative number over positive number is negative. For 6 over 15, I can divide both numbers by 3. Make 2 over 5. Then for letter A, we have letter A on the top and the bottom. The bottom has larger power, so I keep letter A on the bottom. When I divide, I subtract exponent, use larger power minus smaller power. Since A has larger power on the denominator, A has larger exponent on the denominator, I keep A on the bottom, use the bottom exponent minus the top exponent. A minus 4 is 4. So the final answer is negative 2 over 5a to the power of 4. Next, negative 30c to the power 7 over negative 6c to the power of 4. So first of all, we simplify numbers first. If there's a number in the front, simplify numbers first. Negative 30 divided by negative 6. Double negative, when we divide two negative numbers, answer is always positive. 30 and 6. For 30 and 6, I can divide both numbers by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Next, simplify letter C. We have C on the top and the bottom. If the top has larger power, I keep C on the top. Then subtract exponent. 7 minus 4, use top minus bottom. 7 minus 4 is 3. Since the top has larger power, we use top minus bottom. Then simplify. I can write it as 5c to the power 3 over 1. If the denominator is 1, I can drop 1 on the denominator. Final answer is 5c to the power of 3. Next, 6x squared y times negative 5x to the power 3 y to the power of 4. So when we multiply two terms together, we first of all multiply the numbers in the front first. If there's number in the front, we first of all multiply the numbers in the front first. Positive 6 times negative 5 is negative 13. Then we can try to multiply x together. X to the power 2 times x to the power 3. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, we keep the base. Then n exponent. 2 plus 3 is 5. Same thing for letter y. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base. Then n exponent. If there's no exponent, we assume exponent is 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. And that's your final answer. Next, 2x raised to negative 2 times y to the power of 3. 4x raised to negative 3 y raised to power of 5. In this problem, if there is negative exponent, we try to bring it to the bottom, make it positive first. Because for the final answer in the simplest form, all exponents must be positive. So when you see negative exponent, we first of all bring it to the bottom, make it positive. When you see negative exponent, we first of all bring it to the bottom, make it positive. So the first expression, 2y to the power 3 stays on the top. I bring x raised to negative 2 to the bottom, make it positive 2. For the second term, I bring x raised to negative 3 to the bottom, make it positive. I leave 4y to the power 5 on the top. First of all, I try to make all exponents to be positive, because for the final answer in the simplest form, all exponents must be positive. So bring x raised to negative 2 to the bottom, make it positive. Bring x raised to negative 3 to the bottom, make it positive. Then when we multiply the top to the top, bottom to the bottom. When we multiply the top, 2 times 4 is 8. Y to the power 3 times y to the power 5. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, we keep the base. Multiply the exponent. 3 plus 5 is 8. For the denominator, same thing. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base. N exponent. 2 plus 3 is 5. Final answer, ay to the power a over x to the power 5. Y to the power a and x to the power 5, they cannot be simplified because they have different bases. They cannot be simplified. So that's the final answer. Ay to the power a over x to the power of 5. Next. (16x to the power 4 times y to the power of 3 over 24 times x to the power 5 over x to the power 5 times y. So first of all, if there's a number in the front, we simplify the numbers first. If there's a number in the front, simplify numbers first. For 16 over 24, try to find a common factor for 16 over 24. For 16 and 24, I can divide both numbers by a. 16 divided by a is 2. 24 divided by a is 3. Next, let's try to simplify x. We have x on the top and the bottom. Since the bottom x has larger power, I keep x on the bottom. Then take the bottom power minus the top power. 5 minus 4 is 1. For letter y, since the top has larger exponent, I keep y on the top. Then take the top power minus the bottom power. take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. On the bottom, for letter y, exponent is 1. So I take the top exponent minus bottom exponent. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the final answer is 2y squared over 3x. The final answer is 2y squared over 3x. That's the final answer. Next. (48x raised to negative 5, y raised to negative 2 over negative 18, x raised to negative 3, y raised to power 4. First of all, when we see negative exponent, try to make it positive first, because for the final answer, all exponents must be positive. So when you see negative exponent, try to make it positive first. So when I see x raised to negative 5, y raised to negative 2 on the top, I try to bring to the bottom, make it positive. And when I see x raised to negative 3 on the bottom, since I try to make it positive, I move it to the top. First step, try to make all exponents positive first. So on the top, I have 48. Since I bring x raised to negative 3 to the top, it becomes x raised to positive 3. These two terms will be moved to the bottom. X raised to negative 3 will be moved to the top, and it becomes positive 3. These two terms will be moved to the bottom. I have x to the power of 5, y to the power of 2. These two terms will be moved to the bottom, so exponent become positive. X raised to negative 5 become x raised to positive 5. Y raised to negative 2 become y raised to positive 2. And the last term, y to the power of 4 stays the way it is. First of all, 48 stays the same. X raised to negative 5, y raised to negative 3 will be moved to the bottom. It becomes x raised to positive 5, y raised to positive 2. On the bottom, negative 18 stays the same. X to the negative 3 will be moved to the top. It becomes x raised to positive 3. Y to the power 4 on the bottom stays the same. Next, we simplify this expression. Do the numbers first. Simplify the numbers first. For 48 and 18, positive 48 divided by negative 18, answer is negative. 48 and 18. For 48 and 18, I can divide both numbers by 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So simplify the numbers first. Next, simplify x. We have x on the top and the bottom. We have x on the top and the bottom. Since the bottom x has larger power, I keep x on the bottom, then subtract exponent. Take the bottom minus the top. Since the bottom has larger exponent, I use the bottom minus the top. 5 minus 3 is 2. So I get x raised to power of 2. Then on the bottom, I can combine y together. Y to the power 2 times y to the power 4. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, I keep the base, then add exponent. 2 plus 4 is 6. So the final answer is negative a over 3x squared y to the power of 6. Number 9. 7x squared yz times negative 3x y squared z over 24 x raised to power 5 y z raised to power of a. So for number 9, we first of all multiply the numerator first. Multiply the top first. On the top, we multiply 7 with -3. Positive 7 times -3 is -21. Multiply x squared with x together. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and exponent. Power x by itself means power is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So the exponent is 3. For x, exponent is 3. For letter y, I multiply y with y squared. Same thing. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, we keep the base and exponent. Letter y by itself, exponent is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then next we multiply letter z. For letter z, if there's no power, we assume the power is 1. So add the power. 1 plus 1 is 2. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and the exponent. Then keep the bottom the same. 24 x to the power 5 y z to the power 8. Next we try to simplify further. Simplify numbers first. If there's number in the front, simplify numbers first. -21 over 24. Negative number divided by positive number is negative. For 21 over 24, I can divide top and the bottom by 3. For 21 and 24, I can divide top and the bottom by 3. On the top, 21 divided by 3 is 7. On the bottom, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Then, to cancel x, we have x to the power 3, x to the power 4 on the bottom. The bottom x has larger exponent. X on the bottom has larger exponent. So I keep x on the bottom, take the bottom exponent minus the top exponent. 5 minus 3 is 2. Next, for letter y. For letter y, we can see that the top exponent has larger, the top y has larger exponent. The y on the top has larger exponent. So I keep y on the top. Using the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. 3 minus 1 is 2. Now look at letter z. For letter z, the bottom exponent has larger exponent. For letter z, the bottom has larger exponent. So I keep z on the bottom and take bottom exponent minus the top exponent. A minus 2 is 6. So that's the final answer. That's the final answer. Next. (60) a to the power a, b to the power 2, c to the power 5 over -a squared, b times c to the power of 3, -9 a b to the power of 4, c to the power of 4. So here we try to simplify the denominator first, then simplify the top with the bottom. Let's simplify the denominator first. On the denominator, -a times -9 is positive 72. Double negative is positive. -a times -9 is positive 72. When we multiply a squared times a, I add the power. Power 2 plus power 1 is power of 3. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and exponent. 2 plus 1 is 3. Next, for letter b, we have b times b to the power 4. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, I keep the base and exponent. Letter b by itself, the power is 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Next, for letter c, when I multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and exponent. 3 plus 4 is 7. That's the denominator. I leave the numerator the same. Next, I try to simplify this expression. Simplify the number first. For 60 over 72, I can divide the top and the bottom by 12. For 60 over 72, I can divide top and the bottom by 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5. 72 divided by 12 is 6. Simplify numbers first. Now, look at letter A. We have a raised to power a on the top, a raised to power 3 on the bottom. Letter A on the top has larger exponent, so I keep letter A on the top. Letter A on the top has larger exponent, so I keep letter A on the top. Then subtract exponents. A minus 3 is 5. For letter B, we have b to the power 2 on the top, b to the power 4 on the bottom. B on the bottom has larger exponent. Letter B on the bottom has larger exponent, so I keep B on the bottom. Then use the bottom exponent minus the top exponent. 5 minus 2 is 3. For letter C, we have c to the power 4 on the top, c to the power of 7 on the bottom. The degree on the bottom, exponent on the bottom is larger. The exponent on the bottom is larger, so I use bottom exponent minus the top exponent. Keep c on the bottom, take the bottom exponent minus the top exponent. 7 minus 5 is 2. And that's the best we can do. That's the final answer. Next. X raised to negative 2, y to the power 3 square, 3xy square raised to power 3. When there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. When there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. I get 2 to the power 2 times x to the power of negative 4, y to the power of 6, 2 to the power of 2, x to the power of negative 4. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Y to the power of 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. That's the first term. For the second term, same thing. We distribute exponent into the parentheses. I get 3 to the power of 3, x to the power of 2, y to the power of 6. 3 to the power of 3 is x to the power of 3. Distribute power 3. 3 to the power of 3, x to the power of 3, y to the power of 6. Y to the power of 6. Then, if the exponent is negative, we try to bring it to the bottom, make it positive first. If the exponent is negative on the top, try to bring it to the bottom, make it positive. The top stays the same. Now this is a fraction, but the second part is a whole number. When we multiply whole number to a fraction, I put the whole number over 1. When we multiply a whole number to a fraction, put the whole number over 1. Next, we simplify numbers first. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. Y to the power 6, x to the power of 4. 3 to the power of 3, that means 3 times 3 times 3, that's 27. X to the power 3, y to the power of 6. Then when we multiply fractions, we multiply the top to the top, bottom to the bottom. on the top. 4 times 27 is 81. It's 108. 4 times 27 is 108. 4 times 27 is 108. Letter x cannot be multiplied. I leave it the way it is. There's only one term on the top. On the top, y to the power 6 times y to the power 6. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base n exponent. 6 plus 6 is 12. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base n exponent. 6 plus 6 is 12. On the bottom, x to the power 4 times 1. That is x to the power 4. Next, we try to simplify x from top and bottom. Observe x here. The x on the bottom has larger exponent. So I keep x on the bottom, then take the bottom exponent minus the top exponent. 4 minus 3 is 1. X to the power 1 is the same as x. So that's x. Then on the top we have 108 and y to the power of 12. That's the final answer. 108 times y to the power of 12 over x. That's the final answer. Next. Negative 4uv raised to negative 3 square. Six u raised to negative 3v raised to negative 1. So when there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. When there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. We have negative 4 to the power 2, u to the power 2, v to the power of negative 6. If there's no power, just add the power. But if there is a power already, multiply the powers. Multiply the exponents. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. For the second part, do the same thing. If there's no exponent, we distribute the exponent. 6 raised to negative 1. For letter u, take negative 1 times negative 3. We have positive 3. If there is an exponent already, we multiply the outer exponent with the inner exponent. For letter v, since there's no exponent, when I distribute, I get v raised to negative 1. Next, since we want all exponents to be positive, if the exponent is negative, we bring to the bottom, make it positive. Since for the final answer, we want all exponents to be positive. If the exponent is negative on the top, bring to the bottom, make it positive. If the exponent is negative on the top, bring to the bottom, make it positive. So for v raised to negative 6, bring to the bottom, make it positive. Negative 4 raised to power 2 stays on the top. U raised to power 2 stays on the top. Now all exponents are positive. The second one, I want all exponents to be positive, so I bring 6 raised to negative 1 to the bottom, make it positive. I bring v raised to negative 1 to the bottom, make it positive. So I have 6 to the power 1 times v to the power 1. I bring 6 raised to negative 1 to the bottom, make exponent positive. I bring v raised to negative 1 to the bottom, make exponent positive. And letter u has positive exponent. I leave it on the top. Next, simplify the numbers first. On the top, negative 4 squared, that means negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. U squared stays the same, v to the power 6 stays the same. Next, 6 to the power 1 is 6. U to the power 3, I leave it the same. V to the power 1, I leave it the same. Then we multiply the top to the top, bottom to the bottom. Then we multiply the top to the top, bottom to the bottom. if I multiply the top to the top, I get number 16 by itself, u to the power 2 times u to the power 3. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, n exponent, 2 plus 3 is 5. On the bottom, we write number 6 by itself, v to the power 6 times v to the power 1. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keeping the base, n exponent, 6 plus 1 is 7. Then for 16 and 6, I can reduce it. For 16 over 6, I can reduce it. I can divide top and the bottom by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And u and v, since they have different bases, they cannot be simplified. U to the power 5, v to the power 7, since they have different bases, they cannot be simplified. So leave it the way it is. U to the power 5, v to the power 7. That's the final answer. Next. Six x raised to negative 1, y squared, z raised to negative 3 squared, over 2x squared y, z to the power of negative 4 raised to power 3. So first of all, if there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute exponent first. If there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute exponent first. I get 6 squared x raised to negative 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Y raised to power 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Z raised to negative 6. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. On the bottom, do the same thing. Distribute the exponent into the parentheses first. I get 2 raised to power 3. X raised to power of 6. 3 times 2 is 6. Y raised to the power of 3. Z raised to the power of negative 12. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So first of all, if the exponent is negative, we try to make it positive first. If the exponent is negative, we try to make it positive first. On the top, x raised to negative 2, z raised to negative 6, these two terms has negative exponent. So bring both of them to the denominator. Z raised to negative 2, so x raised to negative 2, z raised to negative 6, they both have negative exponent. Bring them to the denominator, make it positive. And on the bottom, z raised to power 12, z raised to power negative 12, it has negative exponent. I bring it to the top, make exponent positive. So it can be rewrite as 6 squared y to the power 4. 6 squared y to the power 4, stay on the top. Z raised to negative 12, I move it to the top, make it positive. Z raised to negative 12, I move it to the top, make exponent positive. On the bottom, 2 to the power 3 stays the same. X to the power 6 stays the same. Y to the power 3 stays the same. They have positive exponent. I leave it the same. X raised to negative 2 and z raised to negative 6. I can bring to the bottom, make exponent positive. So I get x squared z raised to power of 6. When I bring x raised to negative 2 to the bottom, it becomes x raised to positive 2. When I bring z raised to negative 6 to the bottom, it becomes z raised to positive 6. Next, we try to simplify. Let me simplify the numbers first. On the top, 6 squared is 36. Y to the power of 4, z to the power of 12. On the bottom, 2 to the power 3 is 8. 2 to the power 3 is a. X to the power 6 times x squared. X to the power 6 times s squared. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and exponent. 6 plus 2 is a. Then we have y to the power 3, z to the power 6. Next. When we simplify, we can simplify the numbers first. Simplify the numbers first. 36 over a. I can divide top and bottom by 4. For 36 over 8, I can divide the top and bottom by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Then for letters, there is only x on the bottom. There's no x on the top. So I keep x on the bottom. For letter y, we have y on the top and the bottom. Y to the power 4 on the top, y to the power 3 on the bottom. Since the y on the top has larger exponent, so I keep y on the top. Then subtract the exponent. Take the top minus the bottom. 4 minus 3 is 1. For letter Z here, z to the power 12 on the top, z to the power 6 on the bottom. Since the z on the top has larger exponent, I keep z on the top. Take larger exponent, take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. 12 minus 6 is 6. So for the final answer, write it as 9y z to the power 6 over 2x to the power a. For the final answer, if the exponent is 1, we don't write 1. So I write 9y z to the power 6, 2x to the power of a. Next. Negative 2ab raised to negative 3, c raised to negative 2, or raised to negative 3. On the bottom, a raised to negative 3, b squared c to the power of 6 raised to power of 2. So, first of all, if there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. If there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponents first. On the top, I have negative 2 raised to negative 3, letter A raised to negative 3, letter B raised to negative positive 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Letter C raised to positive 6. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. On the bottom, same thing. If there's exponent outside the parentheses, distribute the exponent first. I get letter A raised to negative 6. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Letter B raised to power of 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Letter C raised to power of 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Next, if the exponent is negative, we try to make it positive first. Remember, for the final answer, all exponent must be positive. If the exponent is negative, we try to make it positive first. So the first two terms on the top has negative exponent. I can try to bring to the bottom, make them positive first. For the first two terms here, they have negative exponent. We try to make exponent positive. So I bring these two terms from the bottom, make it positive. So negative 2 raised to negative 3, if I bring to the bottom, I have negative 2 raised to positive 3. Exponent change from negative to positive. Letter A raised to negative 3, if I bring to the bottom, it becomes letter A raised to positive 3. Then on the bottom, for letter A to the power of negative 6, if I bring to the top, it becomes letter A raised to positive 6. Or letter A raised to negative 6 here. If I bring to the top, I make exponent to be positive 6. And the rest has positive exponent. I leave them the same. B to the power of 9, C to the power of 6 on the top. On the bottom, we have b to the power of 4, c to the power of 12. Next, we can simplify numbers first. Negative 2 raised to the power 3. Negative 2 raised to the power of 3. That means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative a. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative a. So, negative 2 raised to the power 3 is negative a. Do the number first. We can leave the rest the same. A to the power 6, b to the power 9, c to the power 6 on the top. A to the power 3, b to the power 4, c to the power 12. Next, we try to simplify. If the top is positive, bottom is negative, when we divide, usually the answer is negative, so I write negative sign in the front. For numbers, there's only number a on the top. Nothing can be simplified. Now, for letters, we have letter A raised to the power 6 on the top. Letter A raised to the power 3 on the bottom. So when we have letter A on the top and the bottom, observe. Since letter A on the top has larger exponent, I keep A on the top. Since letter A on the top has larger exponent, I keep A on the top. Then using the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now for letter B, we have b to the power 9 on the top, b to the power 4 on the bottom. Since the letter B on the top has larger exponent, since letter B on the top has larger exponent, so I keep b on the top. Then using the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. 9 minus 4 is 5. For letter C, we have c to the power 6 over c to the power of 12. Since letter C on the bottom has larger exponent, so I keep c on the bottom. Then using the bottom exponent, subtract by the top exponent. 12 minus 6 is 6. And that's the final answer. Negative a to the power 3, b to the power 5, ac to the power of 6. So that's what we did last class. In last class, we also learned some basic concepts about polynomial. Today, let me show you more about polynomials. First of all, let me show you addition and subtraction of polynomials. Look at a simple example first. 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 plus 4x minus 5x squared. So first of all, we try to eliminate the parentheses first. Then we try to combine like terms. When we try to add different polynomials together, we first of all try to eliminate the parentheses first, then we combine like terms. If there's no operation in the front, we drop the parentheses. If there's no operation in front of parentheses, we drop the parentheses first. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. When there's addition in the front, when there's addition in the front of a parentheses, we can drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of parentheses, we can drop the parentheses without making any change. So I drop parentheses, I get plus 4x minus 5x squared. When there's addition in the front, we drop the parentheses without making any change. Next, we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we try to put the answer in descending order. In descending order, it means we want a term with higher power come first. In descending order, that means we want a term with higher power come first. So first of all, the highest power is x squared. Let's combine these two terms together. They are like terms. When we combine like terms, we try to follow addition rule. Positive 2 plus negative 5. When we add in two numbers with different signs, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Then subtract the magnitude. 5 minus 2 is 3. Like term stays the same. Next, 3x and 4x, they are like terms. So combine like terms. 3x plus 4x is 7x. Then what's left is negative 9. There's nothing to be combined, so I leave it the way it is. That's the final answer. That's the final answer. Next, 4 minus 3x minus 5x squared plus negative 3x squared minus 8x minus 6. 4 minus 3x minus 5x squared minus plus negative 3x squared minus 8x minus 6. When there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. So I write it as 4 minus 3x minus 5x squared. When there's addition in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of a parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. So if we have plus minus sign together, plus minus means negative. Positive negative together means negative. Positive positive is positive. Negative negative double negative is also positive. Positive negative means negative. Negative positive also means negative. So positive and negative sign together is negative. So write it as minus 3x squared. Next, we try to combine like terms. And for the final answer, we want to put it in descending order. For the final answer, we want to put it in descending order. That means the term with higher power must come first. So combine negative 5x squared and negative 3x squared. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers have the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 5 plus 3 is 8. Like term is x squared, it stays the same. Next, negative 3x and negative ax, they are like terms. Negative 3x and negative ax, they are like terms. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two terms have the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 3 plus 8 is 11. X stays the same. Next, the numbers positive 4 and negative 6 may also consider like terms. Positive 4 and negative 6 may also consider like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Negative 6 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 6 minus 4 is 2. So that's the final answer. Next, 6xy squared minus 4x squared y plus 5xy plus 2sy minus 5xy squared minus 8x squared y. So we first of all try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. First of all, we try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. If there's no operation in the front, we drop the parentheses without making any change. I have 6xy squared minus 4x squared y plus 5xy. When there's addition in the front of parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. So I write it as plus 2sy minus 5xy squared minus ax squared y. Next, we try to combine like terms. If there are more than one letter, we don't need to put it in descending order. You can write it in any order you want. If there are more than one letters, we don't write it in descending order. You can write it in any order you want. So observe 6x squared y. There's a like term. Negative 5x squared y. These two terms, they are like terms. They have exactly the same variable raised to the same power. So they are like terms. Positive 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1x squared, 1xy squared. Another like term. Negative 4x squared y and negative 8x squared y, they are like terms. They have same letter raised to the same power. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Negative 4 plus negative 8. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude. 4 plus 8 is 12. And leave the like term the same. X squared y. Leave the like term the same. Next, another pair. 5xy and 2xy, they are like terms. 5xy and 2xy, they are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. 5 plus 2 is 7. Like term stays the same. Next. Five x minus 6y plus 3 minus 7y minus 4x plus 6. That's polynomial subtraction. This is polynomial subtraction. We have one polynomial minus another polynomial. That's called polynomial subtraction. So same thing, we try to eliminate parentheses, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of a parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. So I leave it as 5x minus 6y plus 3. Now, for the second parenthesis, when you see subtraction in the front, consider this is a negative sign. Distribute negative sign to each term in the parentheses. I have negative 7y. Negative 4x. Double negative is positive 4x. Negative 6. Negative positive means negative. So negative positive 6 means negative 6. Negative positive means negative. Then combine like terms. If there are more than one letter, you can write it in any order you want. If there are not more than one letter, you can put it in any order you want. But if there's only one letter, we want to answer in descending order. If there are more than one letter, you can put it in any order you want. Let's combine x first. 5x plus 4x. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. 5 plus 4 is 9. I get 9x. Negative 6y and negative 7y. Negative 6y and negative 7y. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. When we adding two numbers with the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude. 6 plus 7 is 13. Like term is y. I leave it the same. Then the numbers, positive 3 and negative 6, they are like terms. Positive 3 and negative 6, they are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. When we adding two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Then subtract the magnitude. 6 minus 3 is 3. Next, 3x squared minus 4x minus 7 minus negative 9x squared plus 5. 3x squared minus 4x minus 7 minus negative 9x squared plus 5. So same thing, we try to eliminate the parentheses first, then combine the like terms. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. We have 3x squared minus 4x minus 7. If there's no operation in the front, we drop the parentheses without any change. If there's subtraction in front of a parentheses, consider this is a negative sign. When I distribute negative sign, negative 9x become positive, double negative is positive. Negative positive 5 become minus 5. Negative positive 5 become negative 5. Because positive negative is negative. Negative positive is also negative. So same sign is positive. Different sign is negative. Then combine like terms. If there's only one letter, you want to put it in descending order. Descending order means the term with higher power must come first. So combine 3x squared with 9x squared. When we combine like terms, we follow addition rule, add a coefficient, follow addition rule. 3 plus 9 is 12. Like term stays the same. Next, for negative 4x, there's only one term. There are no like terms. There's only one term. There's only one term of x. There are no like terms to be combined. So I leave it the way it is. For negative 4x, there's only one term here. There are no like terms to be combined. So I leave it the way it is. Next, for the numbers, negative 7 and negative 5, they are like terms. Negative 7, negative 5, they are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude. 7 plus 5 is 12. Next, five x squared plus 2x plus 3 plus 2x squared minus 4x minus 9. So for addition and subtraction of polynomials, we first of all try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in the front, we drop the parentheses without making any change. Write it as 5x squared plus 2x plus 3. When there's addition in front of parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. Plus 2x squared minus 4x minus 9. Then we combine like terms. If there's only one letter, we try to put it in descending order, which means the term of higher power must come first. So combine like terms. 5x squared and 2x squared, they are like terms. They have the same letter raised to the same power, they are like terms. When we are combining like terms, follow addition rule. 5 plus 2 is 7x squared. Next, 2x and negative 4x, they are like terms. Positive 2x and negative 4x, they are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Positive 2 plus negative 4. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Since negative 4 has larger magnitude, keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 4 minus 2 is 2. Leave like term the same. Then add the numbers. We also consider the numbers are like terms. Positive 3 and negative 9. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, negative 9 has larger magnitude, so keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 9 minus 3 is 6. So that's the final answer. Next. 2x squared minus x minus negative 4x squared plus 3x minus 2. 2x squared minus x minus negative 4x squared plus 3x minus 2. So when we're doing addition and subtraction of polynomials, we try to eliminate the parentheses first, then combine like terms. We try to eliminate the parentheses first, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. So we have 2x squared minus x. When there's subtraction in front of a parentheses, consider this is negative sign. When I distribute negative sign to each term here, first term double negative become positive. Second term negative positive become negative. Last term negative negative become positive. Last term double negative is positive. Then combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term with higher power come first. So 2x squared plus 4x squared. Follow addition rule. 2 plus 4 is 6. Like term is x squared. It stays the same. Negative x and negative 3x, they are like terms. Negative x and negative 3x, they are like terms. For negative x, consider there's a 1 in the front. We have negative 1x and negative 3x. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Since they have the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 1 plus 3 is 4. Like term stays the same. And for number 2, there's only one number. There's only one number here. There's no like term. There's only one number. So I leave it the same. There are no like term to be combined. There's no like term to be combined. So I leave it the way it is. I leave number 2 the way it is. Next, 2x plus 1 minus 3x squared minus 6 plus negative 6x plus 7x squared. Same thing, we try to eliminate the parentheses first, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of a parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's a subtraction in front of a parentheses, we consider this is a negative sign. Distribute the sign to each of them. We have negative 3x squared, double negative become positive 6. When there's addition in the front, we drop the addition sign without making any change. We have minus 6x plus 7x squared. Plus minus means minus, so I drop the addition sign without making any change. Plus minus means minus. Then combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term with higher power come first. When we combine like terms, we want a term with higher power come first. Negative 3x squared and positive 7x squared. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. For negative 7, negative 3 and positive 7 has larger magnitude, so I keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 7 minus 3 is 4. Like term x squared stays the same. If the first term is positive, usually we don't want the positive sign. So right answer is 4x squared. Right answer is 4x squared. Next, another like term is 2x and negative 6x. Combine like terms. Follow addition rule. When we're adding two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, negative 6 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Subtract the magnitude. 6 minus 2 is 4. Like term stays the same. Another like term is number 1 and number 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. That's an answer. Next, Find the sum of 6x minus 3 and 9x squared minus 3x minus 40. Sometimes a question may be written in words. Sometimes a question may be written in words. Find the sum of 6x minus 3 and 9x squared minus 3x minus 40. Sum means addition. Sum means addition. So we take 6x minus 3 plus 9x squared minus 3x minus 40. Sum means addition. So adding up, taking the first polynomial plus the second polynomial. Then we try to eliminate parentheses and combine like terms. If there's no operation in the form, we can drop the parentheses without making any change. We have 6x minus 3. When there's addition in the form of a parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. 9x squared minus 3x minus 40. Then we combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we want a term with higher power come first. The term with higher power, highest power is 9x squared, and there are no like terms to be combined. The term with highest power is 9x squared, and there are no like terms to be combined. So leave it the way it is. Next, we have 6x minus 3x. Try to combine like terms. Positive 6 and negative 3. Follow addition rule. When we add in two numbers with different signs, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, positive 6 has larger magnitude, so I keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 6 minus 3 is 3. Leave the like term x the way it is. Like term is x. Leave it the way it is. Then we consider negative 3 and negative 40, they are like terms. Negative 3, negative 40, they are like terms. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign, then add the magnitude. 3 plus 40 is 43. So that's the final answer. Next. Subtract 3x minus 9 from 6x plus 21. Subtract 3x minus 9 from 6x plus 21. So subtract something from something else. Subtract something from something else. The second part comes first. Subtract this from that. This part comes first. Write it as 6x plus 21 minus 3x squared minus 9. When you see the word subtract from, the second part always comes first. Subtract this from this. The second part always comes first. Take the second part minus the first part. So for the word subtract from, write it backward. Second part always comes first. Then simplify. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. If there's subtraction in front of a parentheses, consider this is a negative sign. We distribute a negative sign to each term in the parentheses. If there's subtraction in the front, we consider this is a negative sign. Distribute negative sign to each term in the parentheses. We have negative 3x squared, double negative become positive. We have plus 9, double negative become positive. Then for the final answer, we try to put in descending order. Next, we try to combine like term and put the answer in descending order, which means the term of higher power must come first. Highest power is 3x squared, but there are no like terms to be combined, so I leave it the way it is. Next, we have 6x, and there are no like terms to be combined, leave it the way it is. Next, we have 21 plus 9. 21 plus 9. Follow addition rule. That's 30. So that's the final answer. Next, find the difference of 5x squared minus 3x plus 7 and negative 2x squared plus ax plus 9. Find the difference of these two polynomials. So find the difference means you're taking the first one minus the second one. Difference means subtraction. Difference means subtraction. Use the first polynomial minus the second polynomial. So we have 5x squared minus 3x plus 7 minus negative 2x squared plus ax plus 9. Find the difference. Difference means subtraction. Use first polynomial minus the second polynomial. Then we try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. Then we try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's subtraction in front of the parentheses, consider this is negative sign. Distribute negative sign to each of them. Double negative become positive. I get positive 2x squared. Negative and positive become negative. I get negative ax. Negative positive become negative. I get negative 9. Keep it in mind. Positive means positive. Positive. Negative means positive. Positive negative means negative. Negative positive also means negative. So negative is positive. Negative positive is negative. Negative positive is negative. Then we combine like terms. When we combine like term, try to put in descending order. That means the term with higher power come first. So 5x squared and 2x squared. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. 5 plus 2 is 7. Like term stays the same. Another like term is negative 3x and negative ax. They are like terms. Negative 3x and negative ax, they are like terms. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two terms have the same sign, keep the sign and add the magnitude. 3 plus 8 is 11. Leave like term the way it is. The last numbers, positive 7, negative 9, they are like terms. The numbers, positive 7 and negative 9, they are like terms. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two terms have different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, negative 9 has larger magnitude. Keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 9 minus 7 is 2. So that's an answer. Next. Combine 2x to the power 3 plus 1. 3x minus 9 and 5x to the power 3 minus 7x. Combine means addition. The word combine means addition. So add these three polynomials together. The word combine means addition. Add these three polynomials together. We have 2x cubed plus 1 plus 3x minus 9 plus 5x cubed minus 7x. So same thing, we try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. We try to eliminate the parentheses, then combine like terms. If there's no operation in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. When there's addition in front of the parentheses, we drop the parentheses without making any change. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term with higher power come first. We try to put in descending order. That means we want a term with higher power come first. The term with the highest power is power 3 here. We have 2x to the power 3 and 5x to the power 3. When we combine like terms, add the coefficient 2 plus 5 is 7. Leave like term the same. Another like term is positive 3x and negative 7x. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule, positive 3 and negative 7. When we add in two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Negative 7 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. 7 minus 3 is 4. Like term is x, I leave it the same. Another like term is positive 1 and negative 9. Positive 1, negative 9. When we combine in like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from number that has larger magnitude. Here, negative 9 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 9 minus 1 is 8. Next, I'll show you multiplication of polynomials. How do we multiply polynomials? Look at some simple example first. 3xy squared times negative 2x squared z. How do we multiply this polynomial? So if there's only one term, we multiply the numbers first. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. X times x squared, that's x to the power of 3. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and exponent. And y and z, they cannot be multiplied, so I leave it the way it is. Y squared and z, they cannot be multiplied, I leave it the way it is. That's an answer. Of course, that's a very simple example. Next, negative 2 times x to the power of 3 times negative 5 xy squared times 2y. How do we multiply these three terms here? We first of all multiply the numbers in the front first. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. Positive 10 times 2 is 20. Next, we multiply x together. X to the power 3 times x. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and the exponent. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then multiply y. Y squared times y. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, keep the base and the exponent. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's the answer. Next, 7x times 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. 7x times 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. When there is a term in front of a parenthesis, we distribute this term into the entire parenthesis. 7x times 2x squared. First of all, take 7x times 2x squared. 7 times 2 is 14. X times x squared is x to the power of 3. Next, take 7x times 3x. 7 times 3 is 21. X times x is x squared. Last term, 7x times negative 1 is negative 7x. Then we try to combine like terms. If there's no like term can be combined, then that's the final answer. If there are no like term can be combined, that's the answer. Next, 5x squared y times negative 3y plus 4xy plus 6x minus 2. So we try to distribute 5x squared y into the parentheses. When there is a term in front of the parentheses, we distribute this term into each term in the parentheses. So first term, 5x squared y times negative 3y. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. X squared stays the same. Y times y is y squared. Next term, 5 times 4 is 20. X squared times x is x to the power of 3. Y times y is y squared. Next term, 5x squared y times 6x. 5 times 6 is 30. X squared times x is x to the power of 3. And delta y stays the same. Last term, 5x squared y times negative 2. 5 times 2 is negative 10. X squared stays the same. Y stays the same. Last term is negative 10 x squared y. And next we try to combine like term, but we don't have any like terms. Like term is the term with the same letter raised to the same power, and there are no like terms. So that's the final answer. Next. Two times 3x minus 6 minus 3x times x plus 2. 2 times 3x minus 6 minus 3x times x plus 2. So if there are parentheses, we try to distribute a number in front of the parentheses first. So first of all, I distribute 2 into the parentheses. 2 times 3x is 6x. Positive 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Next, we distribute negative 3x. Distribute negative 3x into the second parentheses. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times positive 2 is negative 6x. Then, after distribution, we try to combine like terms. And we try to write the answer in descending order, means the term with higher power comes first. Highest power is negative 3x squared. Then combine like terms. Positive 6x and negative 6x, they are like terms, but they have exactly the same value with opposite sign. They get cancelled. Positive 6x and negative 6x, they have exactly the same value but opposite sign, so they get cancelled. What's left is negative 12. And that's the final answer. Next. 4x times 3 minus x minus 5 plus 4x plus 2x squared. 4x times 3 minus x minus 5 plus 4x plus 2x squared. What we can do first is if there's something in front of the parentheses, distribute first. 4x times 3 is 12x. 4x times negative x is negative 4x squared. When there's a negative sign, when there's a subtraction in front of parentheses, we treat this as a negative sign. Distribute the sign into the parentheses. I get negative 5, negative 4x, negative 2x squared. Negative positive means negative, negative positive means negative. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we try to write the answer in descending order. That means the term with higher power comes first. Highest power is 4x squared and negative 2x squared. X squared is the highest power. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Negative 4 and negative 2. When we're adding two numbers with the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 4 plus 2 is 6. Like term stays the same. Next, we have 12x and negative 4x, they are like terms. 12x and negative 4x, they are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Positive 12 and negative 4. When we're adding two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here 12 has larger magnitude, we keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 12 minus 4 is a. Like term is x, that stays the same. And the constant is negative 5. Leave it the same. And that's the final answer. Next. 2x times 3x plus 5 minus 4x squared times 3 minus 2x. 2x times 3x plus 5 minus 4x squared times 3 minus 2x. So when it's parentheses, distribute the term in front of the parentheses first. When there's parentheses, distribute the term in front of the parentheses first. For the second parenthesis, distribute negative 4x squared. So after I distribute, I have 2x times 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. Second term, 2x times 5 is 10x. Next, negative 4x squared times 3. Negative 4x squared times 3 is negative 12x squared. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. X squared stays the same. Next, negative 4x squared times negative 2x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive a. X squared times x is x to the power 3. Next, we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we try to write the answer in descending order. That means the term with higher power comes first. Highest power is x cubed, x to the power 3, that's the highest power. But there's only one term here, there are no like terms. This term cannot be combined. I write it in the front. Ax to the power 3. Next we have 6x squared and negative 12x squared. They are like terms. 6x squared and negative 12x squared. They are like terms. When we combine like terms, try to add a coefficient using addition rule. Positive 6 plus negative 12. When we add in two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Negative 12 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then I subtract the magnitude. 12 minus 6 is 6. Like term is x squared. I leave it the same. Then the last term is 10x. There's only one term of x. Nothing can be combined. I leave it the way it is. 10x cannot be combined. I leave it the way it is. And that's the final answer. Next. 3 times x squared plus 2x minus 6 minus 2x times 3 minus x squared. When there is a parenthesis, try to distribute the term in front of the parenthesis first. So distribute 3 first. If I distribute 3, 3 times s squared is 3x squared. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 6, positive 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Next, we distribute negative 2x. Negative 2x times 3 is negative 6x. Negative 2x times negative x is double negative is positive. 2x times x is x squared. Negative 2x times negative s squared. Negative 2 times with a negative sign together is positive 2. Negative 2 with a negative sign, double negative is positive. X times s squared is s cubed. Next, we try to combine like terms and put the answer in descending order, which means the term with higher power must come first. The term with higher power, the term with the highest power here is 2s cubed. This term has the highest power. 2s cubed, that's the term that has highest power. But there's no like term can be combined. This term cannot be combined, so I leave it the way it is. 2s cubed, this term cannot be combined, I leave it the way it is. Next, we have 3x squared and 2s squared. They are like terms. They can be combined. When we combine, follow addition rule. We add a coefficient. 3 plus 2 is 5. Like term stays the same. Then next, we have positive 6x and negative 6x. These two terms, they have exactly the same value but opposite sign. When we combine, they get cancelled. Positive 6x and negative 6x, they have exactly the same value but opposite sign, so they get cancelled. Next, the last term is negative 18. This term cannot be combined, so I leave it the way it is. That's the final answer. Next, 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 2. 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 2. When we have 2 term times 2 term, we distribute each term in the first parenthesis to each term in the second parenthesis. I first of all distribute 2x to each term in the second parenthesis. Then I distribute negative 1 to each term in the second parenthesis. I first of all distribute 2x to each term in the parenthesis. Then I distribute negative 1 to each term in the parenthesis. 2x times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is s squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. Negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. Negative 1 times positive 2 is negative 2. Then we try to combine like terms. Since I try to put the answer in descending order, that means I want a term with the higher power come first. We want a term with the higher power come first. 6s squared, that's the term with the highest power. Next, I can try to combine 4x and negative 3x. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. When we adding two numbers with different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, positive 4 has larger magnitude, so I keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 4 minus 3 is 1. Like term is x, that stays the same. Number 2 cannot be combined. I leave it the way it is. And for the final answer, if the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. For the final answer, if the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. That's the final answer. Next. (3x minus 5) times 2x minus 3. 3x minus 5 times 2x minus 3. When there are two parentheses, we try to distribute everything in the first parenthesis into the second parenthesis. I first of all distribute 3x, then I distribute negative 5. 3x times 2x, here. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. Next, 3x times negative 3. That's negative 9x. Then distribute negative 5 into the second parenthesis. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times negative 3. Double negative is positive. 5 times 3 is 15. Then we try to combine like terms. Write the term with the higher power first. Highest power is x squared, 6x squared. So that's the term with the highest power, write it first. Next, try to combine like terms. Negative 9x and negative 10x. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 9 plus 10 is 19. X stays the same. Last term is 15. That cannot be combined, so I leave it the way it is. Next, 4x minus 5 times 3 minus 4x. When there are two parentheses, we try to distribute every term in the first parenthesis into the second parenthesis. I first of all distribute 4x to each of them in the second parenthesis. Next, I distribute negative 5 to each of them in the second parenthesis. 4x times 3 is 12x. Then 4x times negative 4x is negative 16x squared. 4 times 4, positive 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. X times x is x squared. Then second term, negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Negative 5 times negative 4x. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20. And we have x by itself. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we try to put the answer in descending order, which means the term with higher power comes first. Highest power is x squared, so we write negative 16x squared first. Then we have 12x and 20x. We can combine like terms. 12x and 20x. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. 12 plus 20 is 32. Like term is x, and it stays the same. 12x plus 20x is 32x. And number 15, negative 15 cannot be combined. I leave it the way it is. Negative 15 cannot be combined. I leave it the way it is. Next. Six x minus 5y times 2y plus 3x. 6x minus 5y times 2y plus 3x. So when there are two parentheses, we try to distribute. We distribute each element in the first parenthesis into each element in the second parenthesis. So I take 6x times 2y, and 6x times 3x. Next, I take negative 5y times 2y, and negative 5y times 3x. If I multiply 6x times 2y, 6 times 2 is 12. X times y, they cannot be multiplied, so I leave it the way it is. So the answer is 12xy. Next, I take 6x times 3x. 6 times 3 is 18. X times x is x squared. Next, I take negative 5y times 2y. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Y times y is y squared. Next, I take negative 5y times 3x. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Y times x. Y times x is sy. We write it in alphabetical order. Y times x, they cannot be multiplied. We leave it the way it is. But if there are two different letters, we put it in alphabetical order. So write 15 sy. Next, we try to combine like terms. 12 sy and negative 15 sy, they are like terms. 12 sy and negative 15sy, they are like terms. They have exactly the same variable with the same power. They are like terms. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, negative 15 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 15 minus 12 is 3. Like terms are x and y. I leave it the same. X and y are like terms. I leave it the same. And keep the rest the same. Plus 18x squared minus 10y squared. They are not like terms. They cannot be combined. So I leave it the same. Next. Two AB minus 1 times 3AB plus 5. 2AB minus 1 times 3AB plus 5. So, when there are two parentheses, we distribute each element in the first parenthesis to each element in the second parenthesis. Two AB times 3AB. 2AB times 3AB. 2 times 3 is 6. A times A is A squared. B times B is B squared. I get 6A squared B squared. 2AB times 3AB, I get 6A squared B squared. Next, I take 2AB times 5. 2AB times 5 is 10AB. Next, I can distribute negative 1 into the second parenthesis. Distribute negative 1 into the second parenthesis. Negative 1 times 3AB is negative 3AB. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Then try to combine like terms. Here, 10AB and negative 3AB, they are like terms. They have exactly the same variable raised to the same power. So 10AB and negative 3AB, they are like terms. If I combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. In this problem, positive 10 has larger magnitude, so I keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 10 minus 3 is 7. A, B's are like terms, I leave it the same. First term cannot be combined, I leave it the way it is. 6A squared B squared has no like terms, so I leave it the way it is. Negative 5 also, negative 5 cannot be combined, so I leave it the way it is. That's the final answer. Next. Three xy minus 5 times 1 plus 2sy. 3xy times negative 5. 3xy minus 5 times 1 plus 2sy. If there are two parentheses, we distribute each element in the first parenthesis into the second parenthesis. So I can first of all distribute 3sy into the second parenthesis. 3sy times 1 is 3sy. 3sy times 2sy. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. Y times y is y squared. Then distribute negative 5. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 times positive 2sy is negative 10sy. Then we try to combine like terms here. Distribute first, then we try to combine like terms. Like term is the term with the same variable raised to the same power. Same variable raised to the same power. All we have is 3xy and 10sy. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign for the number that has larger magnitude and subtract the magnitude. Here we have positive 3 and negative 10. Negative 10 has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 10 minus 3 is 7. Sy stays the same, they are like terms. Sy stays the same. And the rest are not like terms, I leave them the same. 6x squared, y squared, minus 5. Next, 2x plus 3 times 4x squared minus 6x plus 9. 2x plus 3 times 4x squared minus 6x plus 9. When there are two parentheses, we distribute each element in the first parenthesis into the second parenthesis. So I first of all multiply 2x to each of them. 2x times 4x squared. 2 times 4 is 8. X times x squared is x to the power 3. Next, 2x times negative 6x. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. X times x is x squared. 2x times 9 is 18x. Next, distribute number 3 into the parentheses. 3 times 4x squared is 12x squared. Positive 3 times negative 6x is negative 18x. Positive 3 times positive 9 is positive 27. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we want the term with the higher power come first. 8x to the power 3, that's the highest power, but there's no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. There are no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. Next, we have negative 12x squared and positive 12x squared. Negative 12x squared and positive 12x squared, they have exactly the same value, but opposite sign, so they get cancelled. Next, we have 18x and negative 18x. Again, they have exactly the same value, but opposite sign, so they get cancelled. What's left is positive 27, and they cannot be combined. That's the final answer. Next, (2x squared plus 3x minus 1 times 1 minus 6x). 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 times 1 minus 6x. When there are two parentheses, we distribute each element in the first parenthesis into the second parenthesis. So I first of all distribute 2x squared. (2x squared times 1 is 2x squared. 2x squared times negative 6x. 2x squared times negative 6x. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. X squared times x is x to the power of 3. Next, I distribute 3x into the second parenthesis. 3x times 1 is positive 3x. 3x times negative 6x. Positive 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. X times x is x squared. Next, I distribute number 1 into the second parenthesis. 1 times 1, negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 6x is positive 6x. Negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. I leave x the same. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we want a term with the higher power come first. The term with the highest power is negative 12s to the power 3, and there's no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. That's the term with the highest power, negative 12s cubed. Next, we have 2x squared and negative 18x squared. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Negative 18 here has larger magnitude, so I keep negative sign. Then I subtract the magnitude. 18 minus 2 is 16. I leave like term the same. Next, we have 3x and 6x. They are like terms. When I combine like term, follow addition rule. 3 plus 6 is 9. And then last is number 1. It's number negative 1. It's negative number 1. There's no like term can be combined, so I leave it the way it is. That's the last term. Next, 2x minus 3 squared. 2x minus 3 squared. When we see 2x minus 3 squared, when we see square, write the same thing twice. That's 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. When we see square, write the same thing twice. Then distribute. Take 2x multiply to each term in the second parenthesis. Then take negative 3 multiply to each term in the second parenthesis. Two x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Then negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Distribute first, then try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, try to write the term with the higher power first. Here, 4x squared has the highest power, and there's no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. Negative 6x and negative 6x, they are like terms. When I combine like terms, follow addition rule. When adding two numbers with the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 6 plus 6 is 12. And number 9 has no like terms. I leave it the way it is. For number 9, there are no like terms can be combined. I leave it the way it is. So that's an answer. For number 17, a very common mistake. People sometimes do this. They write it as 2x squared minus 3 squared. Some people write it like this. 2x squared minus 3 squared. 2x squared minus 3 squared. 2 squared is 4. X squared, distribute the power. I get 4x squared. 3 squared is 9. Some people do this. That's wrong. It's wrong. You must run the same thing twice, then distribute. You can't distribute the power directly. You must run the same thing twice, then distribute. You can't distribute the power directly. That's wrong. Be very careful. That's a very common mistake in the past. That's wrong. Next. X minus 2 to the power of 3. X minus 2 to the power of 3. When we see power 3, write the same thing 3 times. When we see power 3, write the same thing 3 times. X minus 2 times S minus 2 times S minus 2. When we see power 3, write the same thing 3 times. Then we multiply the first two terms first. Get the answer, then multiply to the third term. Multiply the first two terms first. Get the answer, then multiply to the third term. Let me show you in a square paper. We multiply the first two terms first. multiply the first two terms first, get an answer, then multiply to the third term. Distribute. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Next, we distribute negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Then negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. If I combine like terms, x squared cannot be combined, but negative 2x, they are like terms, they can be combined. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude. 2 plus 2 is 4. Like term is x, I leave it the same. Then number 4 cannot be combined, I leave it the way it is. So multiply the first two terms, I get this. X squared minus 4x plus 4. So multiply the first two parentheses, I get this. Here is no work. Then take the result, multiply to the third term. X squared times x, then x squared times negative 2. We first of all distribute x squared into the second parenthesis. X squared times x is x to the power of 3. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. Next, distribute negative 4x. Negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. Negative 4x times negative 2 is positive ax. Negative 4x times negative 2 is positive ax. Then distribute number 4. Number 4 times x is 4x. Number 4 times negative 2 is negative a. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term that has higher power come first. The term that has highest power is x to the power 3. I leave it the way it is. Nothing can be combined. Next, we have 2x, negative 2x squared and negative 4x squared. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. If two numbers has the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude. 2 plus 4 is 6. Like terms is x squared, I leave it the same. Next, positive ax and positive 4x, they are like terms. When we combine like term, follow addition rule. Add the coefficient, a plus 4 is 12x. And for number negative a, for negative number a, there's no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. So that's the final answer. Next. Two times x plus 3 squared plus 3 times x minus 1. 2 times x plus 3 squared plus 3 times x minus 1. So when we try to simplify expression, if there is exponent, we must do exponent first. When we try to simplify expression, if there is exponent, we must do exponent first. So here, do exponent first. X plus 3 squared. Do exponent first. That means I run the same thing twice. X plus 3 times x plus 3. Then distribute. Take x, multiply to each term in the second parenthesis. Then take 3, multiply to each term in the second parenthesis. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. then 3 times 3 is 9. When we combine like terms, we want a term with higher power come first. So x squared come first. 3x plus 3x, when we combine like term, follow addition rule. 3 plus 3 is 6. X stays the same. And number 9 stays the same. So compute the perfect square. Do the exponent first. I get x squared plus 6x plus 9. The rest stays the same. Do exponent first. When do exponent first, I get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Next, simplify this expression. I distribute number 2 first. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 6x, 2 times 6 is 12. I get 12x. 2 times 9 is 18. Next, I distribute 3 into the second parenthesis. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Then we try to combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term with higher power come first. Highest power is 2x squared. Next we have 12x and 3x. When we combine like terms, follow addition rule. 12x plus 3x, 12 plus 3 is 15. Okay, 15x. Next, positive 18 and negative 3, they are like terms. We try to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, if two numbers has opposite sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, 18 has larger magnitude, so I keep positive sign. And subtract the magnitude. 18 minus 3 is 15. So that's the final answer. Next. Negative x minus 4 squared plus 2x times x plus 2. Negative x minus 4 squared plus 2x times x plus 2. So when there's exponent, we must do exponent first. When there's exponent, we must do exponent first. Do exponent first. Keep negative sign. Do x minus 4 squared first. Let's do it in a square paper. X minus 4 squared. X minus 4 squared. That means I write the same thing twice. X minus 4 times x minus 4. X minus 4 squared means x minus 4 times x minus 4. Then distribute. Take each term in the first parenthesis, multiply to each term in the second parenthesis. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Then distribute negative 4. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Then combine like terms. Negative 4x plus negative 4x. When two terms has the same sign, keep the sign and the magnitude. 4 plus 4 is 8. I get 8, negative 8x. Then plus 16. This term cannot be combined. X squared cannot be combined. So that's the answer. So compute the perfect square. Compute x minus 4 squared. I have x squared minus ax plus 16. Put it here. X squared minus ax plus 16. Keep the second part the same. Plus 2x times x plus 2. Next. When there is subtraction in the front, consider this is a negative sign. consider this is a negative sign. Distribute negative sign into the parentheses. I have negative x squared. Negative ax, double negative is positive ax. Negative 16. Negative means negative. So we have negative 16 here. Then for the second parenthesis, we distribute 2x into the parentheses. 2x times x. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. Distribute first. Next, we try to combine like terms. When we combine like term, we want a term with a higher power come first. Negative x squared plus 2x squared. They are like terms. When we combine like term, we try to add a coefficient. For negative x squared, coefficient is 1. If there's no coefficient, we assume coefficient is 1. Then when we combine like terms, follow addition rule. Negative 1 plus positive 2. If two numbers has different sign, keep the sign from the number that has larger magnitude. Here, positive 2 has larger magnitude, so keep positive sign. Then subtract the magnitude. 2 minus 1 is 1. Like term is x squared, I leave it the same. Another like term is positive ax and positive 4x. When we combine like term, follow addition rule, we add the coefficient. A plus 4, positive a plus positive 4 is positive 12. Like term stays the same. And the number by itself here is negative 16. For negative 16, there are no like term can be combined. I leave it the way it is. So for the final answer, if the first term is positive, we don't write positive sign. If the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. So the final answer is x squared plus 12x minus 16. Next, I'll show you some special formulas. Sometimes when doing calculation, if you use formula, you'll be much easier. Next, I'll show you some special formulas called special products. First formula, a plus b squared a plus b squared equal to what? Let's multiply. A plus b squared means a plus b times a plus b. If we distribute a, we have a squared plus ab. If I distribute b times a, b and a cannot be multiplied. I write it in alphabetical order. It's another ab. Plus b times b is b squared. If I combine like terms, ab plus ab, they are like terms, but then we try to add a coefficient. If there's no coefficient, we assume coefficient is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. When we combine like terms, add the coefficient. 1 plus 1 is 2. So a squared plus 2ab equal to b squared. If there's no coefficient, we assume the coefficient is 1. So a plus b squared equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is a formula. You need to memorize it. This is a formula. You need to memorize it. A plus b squared equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. That's a formula. You need to memorize it. Next, a minus b squared. Similarly, for a minus b squared, we run the same thing twice and multiply. That's a minus b times a minus b. a minus b squared means a minus b times a minus b. So we distribute a into the second parenthesis, then distribute negative b into the second parenthesis. A times a is a squared. Positive a times negative b is negative ab. Next, negative b times positive a is also negative ab. Next, negative b times negative b, double negative is positive. B times b is b squared. Then we try to combine like terms. AB and AB, they are like terms. Try to combine like terms. Combine like terms means add a coefficient. But if there's no coefficient, we assume coefficient is 1. If there's no coefficient, we assume coefficient is 1. When we combine like terms, add a coefficient. Negative 1 plus negative 1. When we add in two numbers with the same sign, keep the sign, add the magnitude, and leave like term the same. I get negative 2ab. First term stays the same, and last term stays the same. A minus b squared is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Next one. Next formula is a plus b times a minus b. Next formula is a plus b times a minus b. What's a plus b times a minus b? Distribute, combine like terms. We'll see the answer. So if I distribute a, I have a squared minus ab. A times a is a squared. Positive a times negative b is negative ab. Then distribute b. B times a is ab. Positive b times negative b is negative b squared. Then combine like terms. ab, negative ab and positive ab, they are like terms, but they have exactly the same value but opposite sign. Positive ab and negative ab, they have exactly the same value but opposite sign, so they get cancelled completely. What's left is a squared minus b squared. So a plus b times a minus b, we have a squared minus b squared. So these three formulas, they are called special products. These three formulas are special formulas. You need to memorize it. These three equations, they are special formulas. You need to memorize it. First equation, first two formula has a name. It's called perfect square trinomial. They are called perfect square trinomial. First two formula has a name. They are called perfect square trinomial. The last formula has a name. It's called difference of perfect square. It's called difference of perfect square. So keep this formula in mind. First two formula, they are called perfect square trinomials. And the last formula is called difference of perfect square. Keep these three formula in mind. Next, based on this formula, let's do some example. Let's try some examples. Let's simplify each of the following expressions. First example, x plus 5 squared. X plus 5 squared. First of all, observe this expression. It looks like the first formula. It looks like the first formula. So x represents A, 5 represents B. This looks like the first formula. X represents A, 5 represents B. So I can substitute x for A. I substitute 5 for B. If I substitute, I have x squared plus 2 times x times 5 plus 5 squared. If I use the formula, I substitute x for A, substitute 5 for B. I have x squared plus 2x times 5 plus 5 squared. Then simplify. X squared is the same as x squared. 2 times x times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And I leave x the way it is. Plus 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25. That's the answer. Using formula, we can get an answer much quicker than doing distribution. Using formula, we can get an answer much quicker than doing distribution. Next. X minus 3 squared. X minus 3 squared. So if I try to match the formula, this formula looks like the second formula. This looks like the second formula. So I substitute x for A. I substitute 3 for B. This formula looks like the second formula. Here I substitute x for A. Substitute 3 for B. I have x squared minus 2 times x times 3 plus 3 squared. I substitute x for A. Substitute 3 for B. Then simplify. We have x squared, negative 2 times 3 here is negative 6. X stays the same. Plus 3 squared means 3 times 3, that's 9. So that's the answer. Next. Four x plus 3 squared. 4x plus 3 squared. It looks like, if you compare, it looks like the first formula. 4x plus 3 squared. 4x represents A. 3 represents B. It looks like the first formula. 4x represents A. 3 represents B. So if I use the formula, I plug in 4x for letter A. I plug in 3 for letter B. I have 4x squared plus 2 times 4x times 3 plus 3 squared. I substitute 4x for letter A. Substitute number 3 for letter B. Then simplify. 4x squared, I distribute power 2 to each of them. 4 squared is 16. X squared, I leave it the way it is. Second term, multiply the numbers first. 2 times 4 is A. A times 3 is 24. I leave x the way it is. Last term, 3 squared is 9. That's the final answer. Next, 2y minus 1 square. 2y minus 1 square. It looks like the second formula. So here we try to apply the second formula. 2y represent A. Number 1 represent B. So I plug in 2y for letter A. I plug in number 1. I plug in number 1 for letter B. If I substitute 2y for A, I have 2y squared minus 2 times AB. A is 2y. B is 1. Plus B squared. B squared is the same as 1 squared. Then simplify. 2y squared, if I distribute power 2, 2 squared is 4. Y squared stays the same. Next, multiply the numbers. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Letter y stays the same. Last term is positive 1. Next, 2x plus 3y squared. 2x plus 3y squared, it looks like the first formula. 2x plus 3y squared, it looks like the first formula. We substitute 2x for letter A, substitute 3y for letter B. So we have 2x squared plus 2 times 2x times 3y plus 3y squared. Substitute 2x for letter A. Substitute 2x for letter A. Substitute 3y for letter B. Substitute 3y for letter B. That's what we have. Then simplify. 2x squared. Distribute squared. 2 squared is 4. For x squared, I leave it the way it is. Next term, multiply the numbers first. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Leave x, y the same. X and y cannot be multiplied, so leave it the same. Last term, 3 squared is 9. Y squared is y squared. They cannot be multiplied. So that's an answer. Next. (4x minus 7y squared). 4x minus 7y squared. It looks like the second formula. It looks like the second formula. We substitute 4x for letter A. Substitute 7y for letter B. So we have 4x squared minus 2 times A is 4x, times B is 7y, plus B squared, that means 7y squared. Then simplify. Distribute square first. 4 squared is 16. S squared cannot be simplified, leave it the way it is. Next term, multiply the number first. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Then x times y. X and y cannot be multiplied. We leave it the way it is. Last term, distribute square. 7 squared is 49. Y squared, we leave it the way it is. Next. (4x plus 1 times 4x minus 1). 4x plus 1 times 4x minus 1. This formula looks like the third formula. It looks like the third formula, where 4x represent A, number 1 represent B, 4x represent A, number 1 represent B. It looks like the third formula, so I can use the formula here. a squared minus b squared. I substitute 4x for letter A and substitute number 1 for letter B. We have 4x squared minus 1 squared. 4x squared, we distribute square. 4 squared is 16. X squared cannot be evaluated, leave it the way it is. Minus 1 squared is 1. So that's an answer. Next. Two y minus 3x times 2y plus 3x. 2y minus 3x times 2y plus 3x. If you compare this formula with the third formula, it looks almost the same, but we have plus minus in opposite order. For multiplication, we are allowed to switch order. For multiplication, we are allowed to switch order, so they are the same. For multiplication, we are allowed to switch order, so they are the same. 2x minus 3y and 2x plus 3y is the same as 2x plus 3y times 2x minus 3y. They are exactly the same. So they are exactly the same. Then if they are the same, it matches the third formula here. So keep it in mind. For multiplication, we are allowed to switch order. So this formula looks exactly the same as the third formula. Then 2y represent A, 3x represent B, 2y represent A, 3x represent B. I can use the formula A squared minus B squared. So 2y squared minus 3x squared. I substitute 2y for A, substitute 3x for B. 2y squared, 2 squared is 4. I leave y squared the way it is. 3x squared, 3 squared is 9. I leave x squared the way it is. So that's the final answer. Next. 5 minus 2x times 5 plus 2x. 5 minus 2x times 5 plus 2x. So it looks like the same as the third formula, but I have plus minus in opposite order. But we know for multiplication, we are allowed to switch order. So this expression looks exactly the same as the third formula. If we apply the third formula, number 5 represents letter A, 2x represents letter B. So I plug in 5 for letter A, plug in 2x for letter B. I get 5 squared minus 2x squared. 5 squared is 25. 2x squared here, 2 squared is 4. I leave x squared the way it is. Next. Half of x plus 1/3 times half of x minus 1/3. Half of x plus 1/3 times half of x minus 1/3. If you try to match the formula, it looks like the third formula here. It looks like the third formula. So half x represents A, 1/3 represents B. So plug in. We have half x squared minus 1/3 squared. I plug in half x for A, plug in 1/3 for B. half x squared, that's 1 over 4x squared. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, x squared I leave it the way it is. Next, 1/3 squared, distribute square. 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9. Next, 6x squared plus 5 squared. This formula looks like the first formula. This expression looks like the first formula. 6x squared represents A. Number 5 represents B. So I plug in 6x squared for A. And 2AB, plug in 6x squared for A. B is 5. Plus B is 5. Then multiply out. Distribute square first. 6 squared is 36. If I distribute square here, x squared is x to the power 4. When I distribute power 2, I multiply the power to the power. Then next, multiply the numbers first. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. X squared stays the same. Plus 5 squared is 25. Next, ax minus 9y squared. Ax minus 9y squared. If you observe this formula, it looks like number 2. This expression looks like formula number 2. So substitute. We substitute ax for letter A. Substitute 9y squared for letter B. Substitute ax for letter A. Substitute 9y squared for letter B. Plus b squared. 9y squared. Then simplify. Distribute power 2 here. A squared is 64 times x squared. Next, multiply the numbers first. 2 times A is 16. 16 times 9. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry 5 over. 1 times 9 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. I get 144. Multiply the numbers first. I get 144. Then we have x and y squared. They cannot be multiplied. I leave it the way it is. Last term. 9 squared is 81. If I distribute power 2 to y squared, I take power 2 times power 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Y to the power of 4. Number 13. X plus 2 times x minus 2 times x squared plus 4. Number 13, x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x squared plus 4. Number 13, it doesn't look like any of these formulas. So let's observe the expression first. It doesn't look like any of these expressions. But if we observe the first two expressions, first two parts looks like formula number 3. So we can use formula number 3 to simplify the first two parts first. Let's use formula number 3 to simplify the first two parts first. If I use formula number 3 to simplify the first two parts, x represents A, 2 represents B. So I use the formula. I have x squared, minus 2 squared. Leave the second part the same. If I use the formula for the first two parts, I have x represents A, 2 represents B. So if I plug in, I have x squared minus 2 squared. If I simplify, x squared is the same as x squared. 2 squared is 4. Keep the last part the same. Now I have x squared minus 4 times x squared plus 4. Again, that looks exactly the same as formula number 3. This looks exactly the same as formula number 3. So using the formula again, x squared represents A, number 4 represents B. So if I use the formula, I have x squared minus 4 squared. If I use the formula, I have x squared minus 4 squared. X squared is x raised to power 4. 4 squared is 16. So that's the final answer. Next, sy plus 3 times sy minus 3. X squared plus x squared times y squared plus 9. xy plus 3 times sy minus 3. x squared times y squared plus 9. So this expression doesn't look like any of these formulas, but the first two parts looks like formula number 3. So I can use formula number 3 to simplify the first two parts first. So the first two parentheses here, xy represent letter A, number 3 represent letter B. So I plug in sy for letter A, I plug in number 3 for letter B. I have xy squared minus 3 squared. The last part stays the same. So here I use the formula. I plug in sy for A, plug in 3 for B. Then simplify. Xy squared, I distribute power 2 to each of them. I get x squared, y squared. 3 squared is 9. Keep the last part the same. Now we have x squared, y squared minus 9 times x squared, y squared plus 9. Now it looks like formula number 3. X squared, y squared represent A. Number 9 represent B. So we plug in x squared, y squared for A. Plug in number 9 for B. We have x squared, y squared minus 9 squared. If I distribute power 2, I have x to the power 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Y to the power 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 9 squared. 9 squared is 81. Next, we will study division of polynomials. Let's look at some simple example first. 35 x squared y to the power 7 divided by 7x y to the power 3. When we do division, take each term, divide by each other. Take 35, divide by 7, that's 5. X squared divided by x. When you divide, such an exponent. 2 minus 1 is power 1. Power 2 minus power 1 is power 1. For y, power 7 minus power 3 is power 4. So the final answer, if the power is 1, we don't write 1. So the final answer is 5x y to the power 4. Next. (21) x to the power 7 y to the power of 3 divided by 3x to the power of 4. 21 x to the power 7 y to the power 3 divided by 3x to the power 4. When we do division, divide the number first. 21 divided by 3 is 7. X to the power 7 divided by x to the power 4. When we divide, take the top minus bottom. 7 minus 4 is 3. For letter y, since there's no y on the bottom, I keep it the same. For letter y, since there's no y on the bottom, I keep it the same. That's an answer. Next. 10x to the power 5 minus 15x to the power of 6 divided by 5x to the power of 4. 10x to the power of 5 minus 15x to the power of 6 divided by 5x to the power of 4. So if on the top there are two terms, we take each term on the top, divide by the bottom. Take each term on the top, divide by the bottom. When there are two terms, take each term on the top, divide by the bottom. First term, let's divide the number first. (10) divided by 5 is 2. Divided by 5 is 2. X to the power 5 divided by x to the power 4. When you divide x, subtract the power. 5 minus 4 is 1. Next term, divide the number first. 15 divided by 5 is 3. X to the power 6 divided by x to the power 4. When you divide, subtract the exponent. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I get 3x to the power of 2. For the final answer, if the power is 1, we don't write 1. So the final answer is 2x minus 3x squared. Next. Negative 2x to the power 4 plus 10x to the power of 8 minus 18x to the power of 5 divided by negative 2x to the power 4. Negative 2x to the power 4 plus 10x to the power 8 minus 18x to the power of 5 divided by 2x to the power of 4. So if there are more than one terms on the top, we take each term, divide by the bottom. It can be rewrite as negative 2x to the power 4 over negative 2x to the power 4 plus 10x to the power 8 over negative 2x to the power 4 minus 18x to the power 5 divided by negative 2x to the power 4. Then simplify each term individually. Divide each term individually. First term, Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. X to the power 4 divided by x to the power 4 can cancel. They have exactly the same power, they cancel directly. Second term, positive 10 divided by negative 2. Positive 10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5. X to the power a divided by x to the power 4. When you divide, you subtract an exponent. A minus 4 is 4. Last term, negative 18 divided by negative 2. Negative 18 divided by negative 2. Double negative is positive. 18 divided by 2 is 9. X to the power 5 divided by x to the power 4. When you divide, you subtract the power. Power 5 minus power 4 is power 1. For the final answer, if the power is 1, we don't write 1. For the final answer, if the power is 1, we don't write 1. Next. P to the power 4 q to the power 5 plus 12 p squared q to the power 4 minus pq to the power 3 divided by pq squared. So if there are multiple terms on the top, take each term divided by the bottom. It can be rewritten as 10p to the power 4 q to the power 5 divided by pq squared plus 12 p squared q to the power 4 divided by pq squared minus pq to the power 3 divided by pq squared. Then divide each term individually. First term, number 10 stays the same. P to the power 4 divided by p. For p, if there's no power, whereas when the power is 1, when you divide, subtract the power. 4 minus 1 is 3. And for letter q, same thing, subtract the power. When you divide, subtract the power. 5 minus 2 is 3. Second term, since there's no number on the bottom, we leave number 12 the same. P squared divided by p. Power 2 minus power 1 is p raised to power 1. If the power is 1, we don't write power 1. And next, q to the power 4 divided by q to the power 2. When you divide, you subtract the exponent. 4 minus 2 is 2. So we get q to the power of 2. Last term, p divided by p can cancel. Q to the power 3 divided by q squared. Q to the power 3 divided by q squared. When we divide, subtract the exponent. 3 minus 2 is 1. So the last term is q. Next. Negative 15 a to the power 7 b to the power 6 plus a squared b to the power 4 plus 5ab to the power 3 divided by 5ab to the power of 3. If there are multiple terms on the top, take each term, divide by the denominator. We have negative 15 a to the power 7 b to the power 6 divided by 5ab to the power of 3. Second term, sorry, it should be positive 10 here. 10a squared b to the power 4 divided by 5ab to the power 3. Last term, 5ab to the power 3 divided by 5ab to the power 3. If there are multiple terms on the numerator, take each term, divide by the denominator, then simplify. First term, divide the number first. Negative 15 divided by positive 5 is negative 3. A to the power 7 divided by A, we subtract exponent. Power 7 minus power 1 is power of 6. B to the power 6 divided by B to the power 3, we will divide, subtract exponent. 6 minus 3 is 3. Second term, next term. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then A squared divided by A, when we divide, subtract exponent. 2 minus 1 is 1. If the power is 1, we don't write 1. And same thing for letter B. 4 minus 3 is 1. When we divide, subtract the power. 4 minus 3 is 1. If the power is 1, we don't write 1. Last term. 5 divided by 5 is 1. A divided by A can cancel. B to the power 3 divided by B to the power 3 they can cancel. So the answer is 1. That's the last term. Next. Negative 20 u to the power 4 v to the power 3 plus 30 u to the power 2 v to the power 5 minus 40 u to the power 3 v to the power 4 over negative 10 u squared v to the power of 3. When there are multiple terms on the numerator, we take each term on the top, divide by the term on the bottom. So first term is negative 20 u to the power 4 v to the power 3 divided by negative 10 u to the power 2 v to the power 3. Second term, we have 30 u to the power 2 v to the power 5 divided by negative 10 u to the power 2 v to the power 3. Third term, negative 40 u to the power 3 v to the power 4 divided by negative 10 u to the power 2 v to the power 3. Then we take each term on the top, divide by the bottom. Negative 20 divided by negative 10 is positive 2. U to the power 4 divided by u to the power 2. When you divide, subtract exponent. 4 minus 2 is 2. And v to the power 3 divided by v to the power 3, they get cancelled completely. If they have same exponent, they get cancelled completely. Next term, positive 30 divided by negative 10. Positive 30 divided by negative 10. When two numbers has different sign, answer is negative. 30 divided by 10 is 3. U squared divided by u squared, they get cancelled completely. V to the power 5 divided by v to the power 3. When we divide, subtract exponent. 5 minus 3 is 2. The third term, negative 40 divided by negative 10 is positive 4. If I divide a number first, negative 40 divided by negative 10 is positive 4. U to the power 3 divided by u to the power 2. When we divide, subtract exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. If the power is 1, we don't write 1. Next, v to the power 4 divided by v to the power 3. When you divide, subtract exponent. 4 minus 3 is 1. If the power is 1, we don't write 1. So that's the final answer. Next, negative 14 x to the power 3 y squared plus 7x to the power 6 y to the power 2 minus 35 x to the power 5 y to the power of 4 divided by 7x to the power 3 y. So when there are multiple terms on the top, divide by one term on the bottom, take each term, divide by the denominator. Take each term on the top, divide by denominator. We have negative 14x to the power 3 y squared divided by 7x to the power 3 y plus 7x to the power 6 y to the power of 2 divided by 7x to the power 3 y. Next term minus 35x to the power 5 y to the power 4 divided by 7x to the power 3 y. Then we take each term on the top, divide by the bottom. First term, negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. X to the power 3 divided by x to the power 3, if they have same power, they get cancelled completely. Y to the power 2 divided by y. When we divide such a power, 2 minus 1 is 1. So y raised to power 1. If the power is 1, I don't write power 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. If the power is 1, I don't write 1. Next term, 7 divided by 7 is 1. 7 divided by 7 is 1. X to the power 6 divided by x to the power 3. When we divide, subtract exponent. 6 minus 3 is 3. Y to the power 2 divided by y. When we divide, subtract exponent. If there is no power, we assume power is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. And when the power is 1, we don't write 1. Next, 35 divided by 7 is 5. And x to the power 5 divided by x to the power of 3. When we divide, subtract exponents. 5 minus 3 is 2. And for y, do the same thing. Y to the power 4 divided by y. That's y to the power of 3. When we divide, subtract exponents. So for the final answer, if the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. For the final answer, if the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. So we move number 1 here. The final answer is x cubed times y. If the coefficient is 1, we don't write 1. Next. (25) a to the power 6 b to the power 4 plus 15 a to the power 4 b to the power 3 minus 30 a to the power 7 b to the power of 2 divided by negative 5 a to the power 4 b to the power of 2. If there are multiple terms on the top, take each term on the top, divide by the term on the bottom. We have 25 a to the power 6 b to the power 4 divided by negative 5 a to the power 4 b to the power 2. Second term, we have 15 a to the power 4 b to the power 3 divided by negative 5 a to the power 4 b to the power 2. The third term, 30 a to the power 7 b to the power 2 divided by negative 5 a to the power 4 b to the power 2. Take each term on the top, divide by the term on the bottom. If I divide, 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. a to the power 6 divided by a to the power 4. When we divide, subtract exponent. 6 minus 4 is 2. Next term, b to the power 4 divided by b to the power 2. When we divide, subtract exponent. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I get b to the power of 2. Next, 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. Positive 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. a to the power 4 on the top and the bottom, if they look exactly the same, they get cancelled. a to the power 4 on the top and the bottom, if they look exactly the same, they get cancelled. b to the power 3 divided by b to the power of 2. When we divide, subtract exponent. 3 minus 2 is 1. We get b raised to power 1. But if the power is 1, we don't write power 1. That's the second term. The third term, negative 30 divided by negative 5. Double negative is positive. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 8 to the power 7 divided by 8 to the power 4. When we divide, subtract the exponent. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I get a raised to power 3. And b squared on the top and the bottom get cancelled. If they look exactly the same, they get cancelled. So that's the final answer. Next. Negative 24 s to the power 5 t to the power of 2 minus 18 s to the power 3 t to the power of 6 plus 6 s squared t over 6 s squared t. When there are multiple terms on the top, take each term on the top, divide by the term on the bottom. We have negative 24 s to the power 5 t squared over 6 s squared t minus 18 s to the power 3 t to the power 6 over 6 s squared t plus 6s squared t over 6s squared t. Then divide. Take the top, divide by the bottom. Negative 24 divided by 6 is negative 4. S to the power 5 divided by s squared. When we divide, subtract the exponent. 5 minus 2 is 3. Next, t to the power 2 divided by t. For letter t, if there's no power, we assume the power is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. We have t to the power 1 here. But if the power is 1, usually we don't write 1. Next, negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. Negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. S to the power 3 divided by s squared. When we divide, subtract the power. 3 minus 2 is 1. If the power is 1, we don't write 1. So we write letter s. Next, t to the power 6 divided by t. If there's no power, we assume the power is 1. When we divide, we subtract the exponent. 6 minus 1 is 5. So I get 3st to the power of 5. Last term, 6 divided by 6 is 1. S squared on the top and the bottom get cancelled. Letter t on the top and the bottom get cancelled. So what's left is number 1 in the last term. That's the final answer.